Want to say thank you for everybody coming in and being here on time. Really do appreciate it. As you heard, and I'm going to say we have Steve Igo from Bordeaux on the line with us. He's going to give us a little breakdown about a little bit about Bordeaux and what they can offer and everything else. Please, if there's questions about anything, please ask them. And if you have the email that he sent or that I sent you with the PDF, please try to follow along a little bit with that. Just make sure we know exactly what's going on. Steve, I'll let you take it away, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Well, the purpose of this meeting is basically to go over the products that are in the catalog. There are 5 products in the catalog, and they've been in there for several years, but things, sometimes questions come up from people, from end users, from other dealers that I have, and I thought it would be a good time to review everything. And as Ted said, if you do have that PDF, it's a good idea to open it up and just follow along while I talk about it a little bit. So basically, it's a 4-page PDF, but all the information is on pages 2 and 3. And one thing about it, and I mentioned this too. I did this meeting with Mike Henry's group last Friday. If the next time we do this over again, this is broken down into 3 particular products that are called eco-solvents, and the 2 on page 3, which are strictly Mamaki products, are both mild solvents. But if I had to do it again, I would break it down to just 1 page for Roland and 1 page for all Mamaki. Anyway, the oldest product, let me just say first that all these 5 products have something in common, and we call that mix and match. Other people call it plug and play, but basically it means that you can pop a cartridge in. Let's say your customer is running the OEM ink, and they run out of cyan. They can pop a Bordeaux cartridge in and just keep running. No reprofiling and no flushing. So that's the key point about mix and match. Because a lot of times your customers will say to you, oh, we're not ready to, why don't we wait till we run out of all our inks? And the truth is that they're, whether they're running 4 colors or 6 colors, they're never going to run out of all their inks at one time. So that's why mix and match is good, because basically, there's no money lost on the part for anything that they've already spent on inks. So everything they spent is going to get used up, and so it's not like they're throwing away anything. So there's no perfect time to change. The time to change is when you think your customer wants to make money, because obviously they can save at least 30% off an OEM cartridge, and that's one of our advantages. Our colors are extremely close. Nothing can be perfectly identical unless we had the exact same formulas and used the exact same pigments, but they're extremely close. They're very closely matched to the OEM colors, and for that reason, they can just buy a Bordeaux cartridge for whether it's $75 or whatever the price is, instead of spending $120 for it. So big advantage there. Let me just talk about the Roland products first. We have something called Fuse Eco NR. The cartridge is actually marked Fuse Eco NR 4.1, and it has been for several years now. That product is our oldest product. Used to have another name. We used to call it something else, but that's really not really an issue. That product, the important thing is, and if you're looking at the PDF, that is a substitute for Ecosol Max. Okay, so, and it works with all the older machines, basically everything below a Soljet Pro 3 and most of the Versacams. There's an exception to that, and when we talk about the Fuse Eco PR4, we'll talk about that. So once again, Fuse Eco NR matches Roland's Ecosol Max ink. If you look at Fuse Eco PR4, what that is that's a match for the Roland Ecosol Max 2. Now, some questions, and this comes up every once in a while. People think that, some people may think that Ecosol Max 2 is an advanced version of Ecosol Max. It's not the case. Ecosol Max 2 is made specifically for the machines that are listed there, the Soljet Pro 4s, the VersaCam VSI series, Versa Express RF 640, and so that ink, the Fuse Eco PR4, it has a chip, which is the same chip that's programmed the same for those that are used on the Ecosol Max 2. So if for some reason somebody calls inside sales and they're shipped the wrong cartridge, if they put it in the machine, it's not going to work, because a chip for Ecosol Max 2 will not work in a machine that's intended to use Ecosol Max. And the Ecosol Max cartridge, or our Fuse Eco NR, is not going to be recognized in one of the machines that use Fuse Eco PR4. Okay. I think that there are a lot more opportunities to further increase the sales of Fuse Eco PR4 in 2018. A lot of these machines have been out now for 3 or 4 years. More and more of these are coming off warranty, and based on that, you will have more demand. So if you have any of your customers that have any of those machines, our ink for that would be the product that you'd want to target to them. At this point, I'm just going to ask briefly if anybody has any questions about the Roland inks. Okay. One thing I'll go on
Steve,
to say is, yes, go right ahead.
is there any way you can give us a list of all the machine models on there? So that way when we walk into customers, we can just look at their, model and look it up real fast,
Right. Is this Angel?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Angel. Basically, the best thing to ask your customer is, which ink are they using? If they're using Ecosol Max 2, you know what to sell them. If they're using Ecosol Max, you know what to sell them. Basically, so as far as I know, all the machines that use those particular inks are on this particular list. So you're basically asking if you could have a shorter list, just a PDF for the Roland inks that lists which machines each one of them is used in.
Yeah, because some owner doesn't know what he has, because they don't run the machine. So sometimes when you talk to the main person, so it's kind of like, he's like, I don't know. So he's just kind of give me the model number. So I have to say, it's just easy for me to just kind of look it up the list.
Yeah.
Oh, here's,
well,
67.
Do you have the PDF now by any chance?
I can hear. Yeah, I'm open.
You do have it.
Yeah.
So if you look at page 2, and if you look at the second row, actually there's a column. In the first column, it's got a symbol, our mix and match symbol, and that tells you what the OEM equivalent ink is. The next row is supposed to be a printer. It's a little hard to tell.
Like Soljet Pro. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just say something else about Roland. Roland's come out, I believe they're called the VG printers, and they use an ink called TrueViz ink, and you may have run across that in some of your with some of your customers. One of my regional dealers, who's also a Roland dealer, told me last week that that Roland is changing all those inks for the TrueViz. So it won't have any impact on you, because none of these inks actually work in that printer. That's got a 500 ml ink bag with a different kind of chip, and it's a little bit different kind of ink. We were working on that ink, and now we found out that basically the ink we were working on is probably, if it matches the OEM's original TrueViz ink, it's not going to work very well. So that ink is being changed by Roland. So you may come up, some of your customers may have bought some of those newer machines that use that ink. So Roland is in transition on that right now. So I don't know when we're going to get to, you know, making our version of their improved version, basically. I just wanted to make you aware of that. So basically, all these are you know, eco-solvent inks. Basically, Roland has also some other small printers, and they use LED curing UV inks. Those are not in the catalog. We are developing those. So if you have run into any customers that have that, just contact me, and I can, you know, it's always possible to, you know, work out something with direct sales.
Hi, this is
anyway. Yeah, go ahead. Another question.
No, it was regarding the TrueViz ink. I'm very familiar with the situation now.
Okay.
So I had a customer, actually a few, and I know that I think Paula had some customers, Mary had some customers. And we found out, because our Avery rep told me when, like in November, and so did the Avery rep. He's kind of Middle East of the U.S. The reason why they're changing the TrueViz is because the TrueViz ink will not print. It is not compatible with any type of conformable, also known as cast vinyl.
Okay, I had heard from my that it had they told me it was some sort of lamination problem, but you're saying that if you print on certain Avery conformable vinyls, that ink doesn't print on them, or
no, not just Avery. So 3M and Avery, they did not pass the specs for that ink. Conformable vinyl is the vinyl that just about every wrap shop uses, and so does sign shop, because it needs to conform around vehicles. Cast iron higher end, so it will not print it because it'll crack. It will not print. It is not compatible with cast vinyl. So like the calendared vinyl where it's just flat, it'll print on that. And not only that is obviously the cast laminate will not stick to the vinyl with the ink, with the TrueViz ink on the vinyl. So it was really crazy. And I had forwarded the email to one of my customers who just bought a $30,000 TrueViz printer through Roland.
Right.
And he said he tells every rep that he knows, every shop, that he does not recommend this printer for any sign shop or wrap shop that does,
What, who am I speaking with right now?
This is Sarah Stamper. I'm the Bakersfield and surrounding area inside sales rep.
Right. Well, thanks for this additional information. That's really good information. But do you know what, besides Roland, working on an improved version of the ink, as you say, a lot of people have bought these new machines
and they can't use them. Right.
Yeah.
My customer actually, because of the Avery rep sending an official email to him, he was able to have Denko and force Roland to take the printer back. Because what they were trying to do was, like the normal eco-solvent printers, I was told that they're about half the price of the TrueViz ink. So what Roland was doing is they were negotiating with the customers, well, we'll go ahead and reprogram the printer just to take the eco-solvent 2 ink. And my customer was like, no, that's if you're going to turn my $30,000 printer into a $15,000 printer, it was quite a scandal, but unfortunately it is what it is.
Okay, well that's a pretty big deal, and I'm surprised that some people haven't. I'm sure some people wanted to return the machines when they found out about this, or experienced it, because there had to be some anecdotal evidence that led to this kind of findings and decisions. And there's a lot of people who probably wanted to return the machine, and
Okay, let's continue if we could. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Sarah, thank you for that information, by the way. We really do appreciate it. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Mamaki products. Okay, and like I say, there's one on page 2, and on that particular product, Fuse Eco ME, and that is the equivalent of the OEM's type ES3 ink. Okay, and there's a list of all these machines that use that particular ink right now. But if you jump to page 3 and you look at the Fuse MS33 ink, it has a list of the exact same machines, but it's equivalent to the type SS21. Okay, so if you have customers that have any of those printers, JV33s through the CJV300 at the end of the list, they're going to be using either the SS21 or the ES3. So one complication with that, which I want to just bring to your attention, is that Mamaki calls both of those inks eco-solvent inks at this point. When they sold the SS21 just for the JV33, it was a mild solvent ink, and then when they added all these machines and their marketing literature changed, and they changed it to saying it was an eco-solvent. So and the bottom line on this is if you have a customer with one of those machines, don't ask them if they're using mild or eco-solvent. Ask them which type of OEM ink they're using. And if it's an SS21 ink, if it uses SS21, it has to use Fuse MS33. Our Fuse MS33 cartridges are all fixed with a SS21 chip, okay? And if they're using ES3 ink, they're going to use the Fuse Eco ME, and obviously our Fuse Eco ME cartridges have an ES3 type chip on them. So that's the important thing to find out. There's a lot of these machines out there right now. Some of those are also, more and more of those are also coming off warranty. There's going to be an increased demand for these. So the last thing you want to do is give the customer the wrong ink. So find out which one they're using. One complication to this is some of these customers may have already switched over to another alternative ink. And if they should want to switch from one of those inks, and obviously I can't recommend you switching from any other ink, any other alternative that's sold in the Feller's catalog, but let's say it's a NASDAR or a Grimco ink that's in any one of these machines, chances are it's probably going to be an the NASDAR or the Grimco are going to have an SS21 chip on it. But the best thing to do, if you do have a customer like this, please contact me, and I will make sure that you order the correct Bordeaux ink to go into those machines. That's an important thing. The easiest thing on this list is the Fuse MS3. And the marvel is that there are still a lot of people out there. It's a decreasing number every year. I looked at the total sales. I get all Feller's sales data for the Bordeaux products, and I looked at how many cartridges are sold of each one of these 5 types. And this is the one that's dropping off the fastest. And it's not because it's not a reflection on our ink. It's a reflection on the fact that fewer and fewer of these in the field. But they are workhorses of the industry. There are people that have had these for at least, oh gosh, maybe, I don't know, 12 years or something like that. And so this machine is still used out in the field, and it's very simple to sell against. It only uses one type of ink, that's SS2, and the Bordeaux Fuse MS3 has an SS2 chip on it, and it works very, very well in the JV3 machine, which is the only machine that it works in. Some people might say, well, my customer has a JV3-160 or JV3-250. And the thing is, the dash number with the last 3 digits just applies to variations in the width of the printer, as various width printers of the JV3 were manufactured. So that's all that means. So once again, for the JV33, 34, and through the CJV300, find out which type of ink is being used by your customer, and then you can look on this list, or if you have any questions, please email me or call me, and I'll make sure that your customer is ordering and orders the right type of ink. So those are the 5 products in there. Once again, the important thing about them is that they are all mix and match, all 5 of these products. And once again, that means that your customer is going to say, oh, I don't want to change right now. I just bought a set of OEM ink and I have and everything in my printer is almost full except one color. And you can tell them, well, try one color. Just buy one color, put it in, and you won't even see any difference between that and and your original colors. And over a period of time, as the OEM ink empties, add another one. So it's an easy sell. It's almost a zero risk on the part of your end user, because they're not losing any money on what they bought, and they're going to save a lot of money on what they're buying from you guys. So that's basically my summary here, and my selling proposition, which I've tried to probably overly emphasize about mix and match. And just making sure that they get the right ink is another important thing. Does anybody else have any questions? I must have done a great job, because I usually get a few more questions.
Anybody have any questions at all? Unmute if you do.
I do. Hey, can we get actual brochures, please?
Yeah, I think we can. But there's one thing I mentioned at the beginning. I don't want to get this one. I want to change this one before it gets reprinted, because instead of putting it by the chemical, right now they're arranged by the what I call the chemical classification of the ink. So page 2 is the eco solvent, and page 3 is the mild solvent. But as far as for the purpose of selling this product, you're not really selling by chemical classification.
That's
you're
right.
selling into a brand. You're selling for Roland. You're selling for Mamaki. I want to get them to move the Mamaki onto page 2, and then maybe go over it with a fine-tooth comb and see if there's any other little changes I want to make to it. But thanks for that thanks for bringing that up, that you feel that having these brochures would be something that would be good to hand out to your customers.
Well, the deal is everybody will think, when you actually have a brochure, you don't look like a fly-by-night, even though you're not. You've been in business for forever, and I've been selling your product. People want that security.
Yeah, I'm going to make that request, and it should be fairly simple.
Right.
And hopefully I can get those, and when I do, I will let Ted and the other regional managers know about it. I still have 4 other groups they haven't committed to of the fellows groups they haven't committed to a time, but I'm sure that they'll find these things useful also. So that I'll definitely have that as an action item.
Awesome. I have one more. Sorry to bombarding you, but Epson. You didn't say anything about Epson, and we desperately need some Epson ink.
For what particular printer?
Oh gosh, the like the 6,000, 9,000.
Isn't that an HP?
GS6000. We can sell. We can sell ink bags that go into the cartridges, but we don't sell the complete a new cartridge with an ink bag in it.
Bummer.
So that's
Okay.
something that we could do. It would be a thing.
Right.
Paula, I'm going to say, Paula, get with me offline on that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Steve. We do actually have someone else who actually deals with the 6,000 already.
Oh, you do?
We do. Triangle actually has a kit, or they have to modify their printers in order to accept it, but we do.
Oh, I see.
Have, yeah. So.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
But
I do. Ted, the only other thing is I can, and this would be for the purpose of a special direct order. We do have a new dye sublimation ink, and and there are customers that are using it in things like the short color 7070. We sell a combination of a bottle and a special chip. It's a very, very easy changeover, but if anybody has any interest, that's something, maybe bring it up with Ted or.
Well, yeah, actually, if anybody has, because we don't actually have special order privileges with you right now, Mike, we would actually have to get with Dewey and with Yvonne to get you set up for that. Okay. Direct order means there are certain things that we're not able to order. We can only order what's in the catalog currently.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I've been, yeah. We have. There are some people, and I know Yvonne, and we've been dealing when it was called.
Perfect.
Now it's called orders, and yep. Okay. Exactly.
Perfect. That's all I need to know. Go ahead.
Very good. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that there's more opportunities. Let's say of all these inks, there's the most opportunity with those Mamakis, all those things on the JV150, JV300, the cutter versions of those. A lot of those are coming off warranty, and our cartridges, we have two different types of cartridges for those. I think about 40% of the people are using ES3 and 60% are using SS21, something like that. Maybe it's 1/3 to 2/3. But as far as I know, our other competitors don't really have both of them. Most of them have a product for the SS21, but not the ES3. So we offer opportunities there. If you have any questions, you can contact me about that. And once again, the Fuse Eco PR4 for the Roland, lots of those are coming off warranty, and there will be a lot of opportunities for those.
Hey, Steve.
So basically, that's my deal. And any other questions before I guess I leave and leave you to your regular meeting?
Steve?
Yes.
This is Chuck up in Boise. You answered part of my question in that for instance, the JV33 will take actually 2 ink cartridges. So is it determined, like when they set it up, they start using the ES3 and then that's used from there on, and it's not interchangeable, right?
I don't know anybody well, I actually do. There's a Mamaki, something called the MBIS3 system, and it uses 2-liter ink bags.
Mm-hmm.
We can offer that through your direct order department. But when a customer is using SS21, you don't want them to change, because then they really do have to flush everything out, and it's kind of a big deal. They do have to throw stuff out that they've already bought. And usually whatever the customer, when they buy the machine, the ES3 is a little more, it's slightly slower drying, but it does not have as much of an odor, okay? And it's a little less offensive than the SS21. People that have these machines should have ventilation in the room where they have them, okay? I had a customer who was with an MBIS3 with a bulk system, and they actually made a switch because they didn't have good ventilation. But the normal customer that has a normal system and uses cartridges is never going to switch, and you don't want to suggest for them to switch either. So whatever they have, that's what you sell them. If they're using ES3, sell them Fuse Eco ME. If you're using SS21, sell them Fuse MS33. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. 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 Welcome
Anybody else? Wonderful. Steve, thank you so much for joining us for our meeting this morning. Really good information. Really do appreciate it. Hopefully things we can, that we can do a little bit more business with you and be able to get some more business of our own through these customers.
Right.
So.
The idea. Yeah. And right. And my job is to communicate with people and let them know about our products. And that means communicating with the dealers and all the sales reps and any individual. Sometimes I get calls from individual end users and they want to know about products, and I always, forward them to, one of my major dealers like Fellers. So anyway.
So if anybody does have any questions after the call and everything, you can call Steve. We have his phone number on our contact list. So just make sure you get in touch with him. He can help you out quite a bit. And Steve, when you do
so quickly,
yes,
much appreciated.
Go ahead.
And thanks everybody for attending this call with me.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye now. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Okay, everybody. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Hey Ted, can I jump in really quick?
Sure.
On that P6000 ink, the reason why I was asking about it, everybody has the freaking bulk system. All people want is the freaking the freaking cartridge, like it came.
What are you talking about as far as the 6000?
Yeah, it's the P6000. It's the Sure Color, and the 8000. Same thing. They all use a cartridge. They don't want to go bulk. They just want.
I understand that's unfortunate, and I understand exactly what you're saying. And from what I understand, that it's very difficult. It took forever to get the bulk to begin with, and as far as a cartridge, it's almost impossible to change or get a cartridge because the main reason is because the chipset that's on that cartridge is not compatible with anything. They can't duplicate that, from what I understand.
Oh.
That's the way it was.
So it doesn't make sense though, because if they've got the bulk, they have to have the chip to make it go.
The chip for the bulk, they make their own bulk on that one. The chipset. See what the biggest thing how they get the chipset is by getting cartridges from people who are using the GS6000. Okay.
Right.
Fortunately, a lot of people in Epson will not let them share those cartridges, so they don't have enough bulk ink cartridges to be able to do that. They
Gotcha.
duplicate the chip, and every time they've tried to do that, it has failed every single time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just telling you what I've heard. At least when they created the bulk ink system, that was the reason they They went to the bulk ink was because the chipset, they could not duplicate it. So,
Okay,
anyway,
thank you.
No problem. You can always check with Evan or whoever your contact is at Triangle who does that, and they can tell you maybe things have changed by now.
No, it hasn't, unfortunately, but okay. I'll stop it. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So we have a few things to go over real quick. Thank you again for everybody's information and everything else with Steve and being a very good audience for him. Price increase on the cheat sheet. Everybody knows that there is a price increase and things will be changing as of Monday because we're waiting for Stacy to get back off of vacation. She's going to be making some changes to the cheat sheet. You'll notice also that there was another price increase that I was not aware of until Monday, and that is the 180MC price has been increased by 3M. So because it's a set price, we now have to make sure we sell it at that price. We have kits for the 54-inch, of course, but we haven't checked on or worked up pricing for that yet. I'll be working on that today to try to get that and let everybody know. Okay. Let's see here. Keep in mind, as I put out that email that I sent out just a little bit ago to people who did not sign, is the cheat sheet is your bottom dollar. don't sell it at that unless you absolutely need to, and you have, you know, some sort of documentation to show that that's why we're going to bottom dollar. You know, we should be able to get more out of it. So just remember that. Ask the questions, ask the appropriate questions to your customers. You know, what's it going to take? Where do I need to be at? What's, you know, how can we do business? Whatever whatever it is, so that we can find out before we just give them price. We should not be a price company any longer. Everybody else is following suit. Grimco has already started raising their prices, and Montre on a couple of their items, but I think Montre will be doing it the slowest. So Denko also raised their prices already on a lot of their products. Anyway, so I just letting you know, if you have somebody who has documentation, don't turn anything away. If it's below your cheap price, you get with me. Make sure you, if you can, have the documentation, and we will go ahead and see if it's right for our fellers to be able to do the business or not. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to do something new with Goldmine Notes. I'm going to explain why. I've changed everything to make sure that we are doing unique contacts. I've realized over this past week basically, is that we can be talking to a customer about different things, but unfortunately, when you put notes into Goldmine, there's no way to determine whether or not it's been a new contact for that customer or not, meaning a different reason for the call. So what we're going to do is this. If you guys can, if you don't know how to do it, that's fine. We'll go ahead, and I'm going to show you a little bit on the screen. If you have access to your screen and can see my screen, actually, let me share my screen. Okay, so when you're putting a note into the system, into Goldmine, outgoing, incoming, and also message. Don't forget to use the message. When you're leaving a message to a customer or an email, this is where you want to put it. It's the exact same thing. The only thing it says is message rather than call in or call out. Okay? The reason we want to do that is so that it's not confused with everything else. So if you're sending an email, things like that, do it through the message. If you're leaving a message to a customer, put it through as a message. Okay? So we put in account number for this one here. I've got it pulled up, 122045/C for a call. Right over here, put in here 180 CB3 pricing. Okay? Make your notes, save. Okay? Now, customer calls back, and they are calling back, or you are calling them back to give them the pricing and everything else. Okay? It's the same call, so what you're going to do is you want to edit that particular note, and then you're able to put in your other reason for calling them back. Okay, it's not the same. It's not the same call, but it's for the same reason. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so this right here for the 180 CB3 pricing, as I used as the example, that is something we need to do. Let me explain why. That makes it unique. So when I do a search, I can actually find all your calls and or visits that are unique. So, you know, you may talk to this customer 2 or 3 times in a month. Generally, it's about different products. So let's say, okay, we've got this one done. That's all taken care of. And then you talk to them a day later or 2 days later, and they call in, or you call them to talk to them about a new product, okay? So you put in there, they call, let's say, for instance, not a new product, but they call you about an issue with their material. So maybe material issue, or even better, what the material is. that'll make it differentiated between all the different materials that it could be. Am I making sense? Does this make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go ahead and try this, see if this will work. Of course, if you're calling back and everything else and you're talking with this customer about the same issue you just talked to them about, you know, it could be maybe a day or two later, do an edit of what you've done instead of just putting in a new note, because it's the same call, basically. So this will allow me to make sure we've got unique calls going on, and instead of just unique customers. Cool?
But
any questions?
Yeah, go for it. You first.
Oh, but you know, if we're spending that time to talk to them, like different day. I mean, if we don't put it in there, it's just make us like we're not even doing our job.
Well, yes, I understand that you're spending time with them, but we still need. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do unique calls. If you're spending time and you talk about something different on the call, put it in there as a different call. But, you know, you're spending time, honestly, if you're spending more than a couple minutes with the customer, then you should be talking about other things rather than what the weather is going on outside.
Well, it could be a day that, well, okay, he bought this product. Next day he find out when the printing have an issue. And the following day, you try to get the vendor, get a tech support, try to help him out.
Okay.
So it's different day, you know what I'm saying? But it's different time calling it. But we're spending that time, you know, trying to talk to the vendor, try to get the tech support. It takes a lot of times.
Well,
so I think we should get credit for that.
Well, okay, I understand that. So so how would you? Okay, so guys, if this is going to be an issue, how would you suggest that we put something in there so that I can go ahead and make it easy on not just me, but for you, so that we have unique.
I agree, Angel.
Sorry?
Oh, I don't know what happened to my mute. There's something going on with my service.
Okay.
That's weird. I said it like a minute ago.
As you all know, I am recording all this, so you should be able to see that later on, Sarah. Okay? Take a look at it when I email it to you if you're not sure.
No, I can see it. That's when I unmuted myself. It was like a delay is what I'm.
Oh, okay. All right. So does anybody have any suggestions? If you do, if you want to think about it, send me an email, give me a call. I mean, this is a hit and miss. We're working on it and everything else. By the way, hi, Carly. Thank you for joining us.
Few calls I had to take care of. I'm here.
Okay. All right.
Ted, I have a question. What is the end point for this exercise? What if we're bringing in dollars to our warehouse?
Okay,
Where is that coming from? The unique call thing.
Well, I actually was the one who had brought it up. So last month it showed that I only had 30 unique calls, but I had obviously more, like my total amount of calls were more. And so I said, Ted, I noticed that. What do you mean by unique calls? So what it was is last month I avidly dealt with 30 customers, but those customers called me for different reasons throughout the month. Like one needed a sample, and then a week later they need a pricing. A week later they need a stock request. I said, what do you consider a unique call? He stated that a unique call is talking about.
Well, I understand that. I'm just wondering, are you just trying to get all our customers covered? Is that what the whole thing is about?
No, because we're judged on an average of unique calls. So I was averaging 4.5.
Can I hear Ted?
Let me answer this. Okay. So you guys, I mean, we have expectations. I've got expectations for you. I need to see exactly what's going on, where your time, or not necessarily time, because I'm not a micromanager, but I want to be able to see where or what's going on. So I have to give you a matrix of being judged, basically. I hate to use it that way, but because we have the different expectations and everything else, because we don't have a top 100, how am I supposed to make sure that you're actually doing your job? Okay, that is the main reason why why I'm having you do this. Now,
then they should judge us by the numbers.
Okay, so
if we're selling, then that's.
With that being said, then Angel, if I judge you just on your numbers, and
you're
down and you're down and you're down, how am I supposed to know for sure that you're doing your job?
I understand your point. I mean, your call and stuff, but sometimes, we have customers call out of nowhere or new customer. We want to help them because we want to build our territory. We want them to buy later on. It takes time. But if that's not considered a call, it's kind of like, we can't even put it up, let you know that we're talking to this customer. You guys are gonna thinking we're not doing anything. I mean, that's what you guys want to know what we do every day. So that's why that should be considered as a call. It's telling you what we're doing every day, who we talk to, what we do.
Okay.
So,
all right. So maybe I need to, instead of it being 7 to 10 calls on average, maybe I should raise it to 20. I mean, I've got to have a matrix to be able to find out what you guys are doing. And here's the thing, here's the reason that I'm asking for unique calls is because I don't want somebody calling to talk to the customer about the 5 different times on the day to talk about the same issue. Okay? I mean, that's what I'm afraid of is somebody.
Yeah, sometimes it takes 5 calls to resolve an issue, Ted. I mean, you can't really put a cap on how long it takes to resolve a problem because we're waiting for the information.
Okay. Well, okay, all right. So guys, do me a favor then. Think about something that you would like to, that you would like to see rather than this. I mean, we've got to have a matrix in order to show. I've got to be able to show, be able to determine, because I can't read and make sure that you have 15 calls to the same customer in a month. I can't go through and read all the notes to make sure that you're not just talking to the customer about the weather.
Ted, that's where the numbers come in, is what Angel was saying.
Okay, again, numbers are one thing, but let's say you're down and you continue to be down and you continue to be down. I can't determine, except for the fact that I see that you're making calls to the.
That's why the notes are in Goldmine. You'll see why, I guess.
I guess maybe I just need to fire everybody. Is that right? I mean, I don't want to do that.
Hey, Ted, I can tell you, I've got 1 or 2 customers that call me every freaking day, and sometimes like freaking 5 times a day about bullshit over and over, but it freaking takes my time. And it pisses me off, but you can't be mean to him and tell him, I'm sorry you can't call me this much, although I have, because it's getting ridiculous. But I shouldn't be penalized because somebody called me.
Okay, so I will tell you something Sarah and I discussed a couple days ago was you send me your call report every day. Maybe putting at the top or the bottom how many unique calls you guys actually had.
Which I've been doing, obviously.
Right, I see, and I have seen that. I mean, is that something now, of course, if that's the case, I need to make sure, that you guys, it's all on an honor system so that I know how many, and again, a unique call, if a customer calls in to talk to you about a price, you call them back. I mean, of course, I can count all of it, but to me, that's still one call. I mean, it takes you a couple minutes to make a call on both of them, but you still should be able to do other calls. Now,
so can I ask you a question, Ted?
Yes.
So when I'm dealing with a customer in a whole day, like Jackson Rancheria, I had many calls with them and dealings with them all day yesterday, and I just built it onto the one call. Correct. Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
That's exactly what I'm saying, because it makes it that I can see.
Well, and that's what I've been doing. But Angel,
I'm sorry, I'm still talking. Wow. So you can see by the huge paragraph I wrote how involved that was, and I would say called back, went through an email, but it was all the same call, and I built it all on that same customer.
Right. All right. And that is correct, Jane. That is correct. That's what I've said. So what I'm saying now is let's try to figure out a way so that we have a matrix. And guys, this is all new to everybody. Okay, this is all new to everybody. I'm willing to take in and talk about this and everything else more, but I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how to put this together so that I can give you guys something that you have to be, I mean, being judged on. I mean, again, I hate to use that terminology, but I can't think of anything else. So that we know that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. I can say and trust that everybody's doing their job, but when numbers start slipping and I see that, you know, you're making your calls, if I see that you're making your calls and everything else, then there's something else going on, unless you're saying, you know, no, I'm not doing the things right. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
So Ted, if I just want to understand, if Jackson calls me today, then that's a new call, but it's not a unique for this month.
Well, again, and that's Jane, again, that's what I'm talking about. We may need to change. Okay. Do me a favor. I'm going to take the weekend. I'm going to try to figure out a better way to do this. So let's just scrap this, what I'm talking about, and I will think about it over the weekend and see what we can do. Okay. And so to make sure it's equal for everybody so that everybody understands and that you're not fighting on this. I hate to say it that way. I'm sorry. Let me think about it over the weekend, and I'll talk to each one of you probably on either Monday or Tuesday, and we'll come up with a good way of doing this so that we all feel comfortable. Is that good for everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Angel, is that okay with you?
Yes, that's fine.
All right.
There's no point of arguing in this meeting.
I'm sorry?
There's no point of going back and forth in this meeting.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
just
and
think over what you need to.
I understand your point. I understand your point. I just hope you understand what I'm trying.
No, I understand your point. I mean,
All
it's just there's no perfect solutions.
No,
we just try our best.
And that's exactly right. I'm trying to make a perfect solution, but unfortunately, that's why I'm bringing this up, and I appreciate you guys talking about it and everything else. So we'll talk next week. I'll think about a couple ideas, and then we'll pass them through you on an individual call and see if we can get a consensus. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Your daily call sheets. I'm going to ask everybody to use a format for the subject line. I'll explain why. If you would, please use call report and then the date. Don't need your name, don't need anything else. So, for instance, you send a new one and call report 01/01/18. Reason for that is that way I can go ahead and search just by that, make sure that I have the same format for everybody. If somebody, for instance, does call report 01/01/18, that's not going to be the same, and I won't be able to find them all when I need to. Sometimes I get 150 emails in a day. Okay? If I've got 150 emails, it's hard for me to go and try to look at every single one of them by the subject line to make sure I've got your call reports. Does that make sense?
So what do you want, slashes or dashes?
I want it slashes, 01/01/18.
Okay.
Okay.
And no last name.
I'm sorry?
No last name.
Yeah, no reason to put your name. If you want to, after that, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I'm good with that. But I just need to have it in this format so that I can actually search. Okay?
So take Seattle off there. Got it.
Okay. If you put Seattle, put it after the fact.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Cheat sheet. Okay. So just to let you know, this has come up real quick. we had an issue where somebody was from the cheat sheet, but unfortunately they used one that was on their desktop.
Perfect. All right. Let me try again and I'll call you back. Thank you, my dear. Thanks. Hey, what's the company or who are we going to?
Okay, Paula.
In case he asks me.
Hold on a minute, guys. All right, so so basically, if you put a cheat sheet on your desktop, you should do that. If you're going to do that, do it every day. And even at that, you still want to check the cheat sheet, see if it's changed on the Dropbox. Okay, very important. We ran into a big issue this week regarding this, and we need to make sure that we're using the current and correct. Okay? Questions? Okay. Let's see here. I think that's it. That's all I got. Anybody have anything else?
Are we getting more increase from other vendors?
I'm sorry?
Are we going to have more increase going on?
No, actually, I think we're done with, I hope, from what I understand from everything else right now, we are stable. The only other possible increase that we may have, and I doubt it's actually going to happen, is with Arlon. They're the only ones that are a question mark. They were talking about maybe doing something like locking down pricing starting in April, but I think that they've moved off of that. So at this point in time, I hope there are no more price increases. There was a question that came up this morning where a customer called into 3M to say, why are you guys raising your price? And the 3M rep said, we haven't had a price increase since 2014. I don't know where that rep is coming from, but that's actually not true. We get a price increase every year from 3M on a particular product category. Every year and sometimes twice a year, depending on the categories. Okay, so they will raise their price on a category. The following year, they may raise their price on a different category. So for whatever reason, this customer is telling us that they were told by 3M that has not been a price increase since 2014. Guess what, guys? That's not true. I don't know. Again, I think I have a feeling, regardless of anything, either the sales rep for 3M was not understanding the question, or the customer is telling us what he thinks he heard.
You know, that's weird. That feels like ESP. I've heard that story before.
Okay, so
in the past, you know, yes. Yeah, kind of weird. Okay.
So the fact is that when a customer tells you 3M said they haven't had a price increase since 2014, guess what? That's bullshit. Okay, it really is. Any questions? Anything else? Have I made your day? I hope not. I will tell you guys, listen, last month was, for the most part, a fantastic month for us. We were number one in the entire company by a lot. Not just a little, but by a lot as far as percentages go. So I want to say thank you to the number one region in the company. Of course, it's brand new year, brand new territory, or brand new way of doing things. And for that, it makes me look good, and I appreciate that. I will take a little bit of credit, though. All right. If anything comes up, let me know. Real quick, I am looking at doing some travel towards the end of the month on the 26th, I think it is. I'm going to be going to LA. I'm going to be going out to see Angel, Sarah, and Richard. I'm sorry. Yeah, Richard. Sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Don't forget about me.
Yeah, I'm not going to forget about you. So if I do, I will let you all know, of course, and please, as I always say, make sure and understand that when I am traveling that I may or may not be really quite readily available, but I always try to get back to you and try to make sure that we get things taken care of. Okay?
Thanks, Ted.
All right. Hey, guys, have a great weekend. Again, call me if anything comes up and or send me an email. We'll work through things. Thank you again for a great month last month. I hope this month, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have even a better month this month. So let's keep working hard and doing the things we need to do to get more business.
Thanks.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
I can figure out how to close it now. Dadgummit.
I know.
take
Oh,
care.
leave
Don't worry.
on the corner.
I
Leave
put
the
it
meeting.
on the big thing. Now it's like, dadgummit, escape. That's it.
Yeah, there you
Bye,
go.
guys. Have a good day.
All right. Bye-bye.